Right now on Hoosier News Source, we tell you all about the IU Little 500 race, from race winners to the aftermath.
And find out what you need to know before coming to Bloomington for graduation weekend.
And I have this week's forecast as well as what to expect for your Easter weekend. Hoosier News Source starts now.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Hoosier News Source. I'm Mackenzie Ray.
And I'm Brianna Higgins.
We start off today's show with Caroline Clare live in studio with this week's weather. Caroline?
Thanks, Kenzie and Brianna. We will have a low pressure system coming throughout Thursday and going into Friday. As you can see, the pressure system will be coming in from the west, bringing with it rain and a chance for thunderstorms all day Thursday. Fortunately, these storms will not be sticking around for Easter this Sunday. As you can see, at 8 a.m. it's sunny and 55, going through to noon, sunny and 65, and at 4 p.m. it'll be sunny and 70. A gorgeous Easter Sunday we have. Now let's take a look at what the rest of the week will have for us. On Wednesday, it'll be 76, and then Thursday with those storm chances, and it'll be 70. Friday, there is a chance of rain as well, high of 60. Saturday, just a small chance of rain and 56. And then on Easter Sunday, we have that gorgeous sunny day and a high of 70. And going into early next week, we have partly cloudy and a high of 73 on Monday, and just another small chance for rain and a high of 70 on Tuesday. Make sure to be weather aware this week as storms come through our area. And if you're celebrating Easter this Sunday, be sure to enjoy the sunshine. Kenzie, Brianna, back to you.
Last weekend marked the 69th annual Little 500 bike race. Thousands of fans gathered in Bill Armstrong Stadium for two neck-and-neck races. Hoosier News Source reporter Andrew Lamparski has more.
Gentlemen, mount your Little 500 bicycle!
64 teams spent the last year waiting to hear those words. The efforts of riders and IU Student Foundation members came to a close this weekend at the women's and men's Little 500 races.
We finished on Thursday night around 10 and went up to the top of the press box and just looked over the field, and it was an amazing feeling just to know that all the hard work had gone into, and we're finally finished and ready for the race.
One of the greatest parts of the Little 500 races is that whether you qualified in the top 10 or at 24th, you still have a chance to win the race.
Ski cycling led the women's race for most of the 100 laps. But during the last 10 laps, Ski, Teeter, and Delta Gamma were neck and neck. In the end, Teeter walked away victorious.
Day in, day out, early mornings, late nights, sore legs, everything, but we just did all the little things and it paid off.
As for the men's race, first place seemed to be up for grabs until the very last lap. Among those teams that took turns leading the race were Jet Black, Bears, and Phi Kappa Psi. Phi Kappa Psi held their lead for 9 of the last 10 laps when the Cutters overtook them at the last turn.
I'm pretty satisfied, honestly. It's a great feeling to do this back-to-back with this program. This is the plan we set forth the whole year, to have Noble on the bike at the end. We trusted him. We knew if we had him on the bike at the end that we were going to pull it off, and we did.
This year marked the 14th overall win for the Cutters and the 4th for Teeter. For Hoosier News Source, I'm Andrew Lamparski.
The full results of both races are available on iusf.indiana.edu. Next year's races are officially scheduled for April 24th and April 25th.
While many riders were practicing, preparing, and prepping for the Little 500 races, one rider and her coach faced penalties. IU senior Lainey Eldridge switched teams after Chi Omega was placed on cease and desist at the beginning of the semester. When IUSF saw that she was practicing with a different team than she put on her appeal, it came with a harsh penalty, costing her team, Delta Sigma Pi, a 15-second penalty, and coach Tom Schwegler his coaching credentials, which were effective immediately. Eldridge says the punishment is unfair.
His intentions, all of our intentions were with good intent and not malicious or strategic to gain one up in the on race day.
Eldridge says this is not the first time this has happened. Previous riders have said they've had difficulties when it comes to switching teams and that they're hoping change comes quickly for future riders. We contacted IUSF for their side, and they responded that they do not comment on grievances or disciplinary actions.
While many students came to Bloomington for the event, not many walked away with drinking tickets or citations. According to Captain Craig Monroe, only 21 citations were written over the Little 500 weekend, down from 26 in 2018. Monroe says that this is primarily due to a decrease in visitors, a change in the culture, and less of an emphasis on arrest, but more emphasis on safety.
Be careful who stays with you during IU event weekends and what they bring with them. This Little 500 weekend, a resident assistant at Reed Hall reported smelling marijuana. When IUPD searched the students' dorm room, they found 2 guns, ammunition, marijuana, and alcohol. The student and the 3 friends staying there were arrested, and 2 of them faced charges. The other 2 are minors, with the youngest person being 15. With just 2 weeks before graduation, people flocking to Bloomington might want to check traffic patterns before hitting the road.
As the semester comes to an end, senior Landon Ricks is already packing up his dorm so he can move completely out by April 30th. He wants to avoid dealing with both moving and graduation traffic. After turning in his keys, he will go home and relax until it's time for the ceremony.
After I walk across the stage, turn our tassels, take a couple pictures, I'm trying to go.
Officials are even encouraging families coming in from out of town to have a plan and prepare in advance.
You don't want to be texting people or whatever and trying to get directions on the way down. There are traffic apps. Waze is one. We've used that before for big events to let people know when one road is moving slower than another one, or if alternate routes if something happens.
The Indiana State Police launched an interactive map that logs crashes and tracks accident-prone areas based on weather conditions, road conditions, and time. The statewide map updates every 3 hours and can be used by police or community members to pinpoint accident-prone areas.
So before your family gets in the car and buckles up, make sure they plan ahead and check their local traffic apps before they leave for the ceremony to make sure that they get there on time.
For Landon, making sure his family is on time is a priority.
Our graduation starts at noon. I told them to be down here by 10, so they need to leave by 8:30, 9 o'clock. I need them to get down here early and be ready.
IU suggests that families find alternative routes to town because nearly 10,000 students graduated last year on the same day.
And although construction on I-69 is complete from Bloomington to Martinsville, more construction has started going from Martinsville to Indianapolis. To find alternative routes, the traffic map can be accessed through in.gov and search Crash Risk Map. Coming up, we tell you what's happening around the world with our global report.
That's right, stay with us.
Welcome back. A lot is happening around the world. Hoosier News Source reporter Larmy Sanyan has a world news update. Larmy?
Thanks. France is in mourning, but looking ahead, a day after the devastating fire at the famed Notre Dame Cathedral. It took fire crews approximately 9 hours to extinguish the flames that threatened to destroy one of the most recognizable buildings in the world. The prosecutor in Paris has opened an investigation but says all signs point to the fire starting accidentally. Here are images from inside the burnt cathedral. The spire and the oak wood roof were destroyed, but the two bell towers and front facade were saved, along with many religious artifacts. The Interior Ministry says it will take approximately 2 days to secure the structure before anyone can be allowed back in to pull more artwork and fully assess the damage. French President Emmanuel Macron vowed that they would rebuild the 850-year-old church and will be launching an international fundraiser. Hundreds of millions of dollars have already been pledged from French billionaires, companies, and nations around the world.
I know that France could do it alone, but at stake here is something more than just material help. The burning of the Notre Dame Cathedral has again made us aware that we are bound by something more important and more profound than treaties.
Experts say it could take months to assess the damage. The three richest families in France have led the fundraising efforts. The cathedral had more than 13 million visitors to the site every year, so this will have a major impact on Parisian tourism. This week marks the 5th anniversary of the Chibok girls' abduction in Nigeria. Back in April 2014, Boko Haram insurgents abducted 276 girls from a boarding school in Chibok. To this day, over 100 of them remain missing. On the screen, you can see dozens of Chibok girls who were freed back in 2017. Nigerian President Muhammadu Buhari has vowed to find the rest. He said the promise to rescue the missing girls is a major reason behind his re-election last February. Buhari also stressed that the Nigerian military has been successful in, quote, subduing Boko Haram. The Red Cross is desperately searching for 3 staff members abducted in Syria more than 5 years ago. And they're now appealing for information on their whereabouts. They believe Louisa Akauvi, a nurse from New Zealand, may still be alive. The Red Cross has never been able to confirm the fate of her 2 Syrian drivers, however. All 3 were part of a convoy delivering supplies. When they were captured, they were last believed known to be held by ISIS.
I can't even start imagining the suffering and hardship Louisa has gone through. What we actually know is that Louisa has been working as a nurse during her abduction, which shows her dedication and commitment to the mission and mandate of the Red Cross, caring for people affected by conflict.
Their families are all desperately hoping for their safe return. Guinness Beer is getting rid of plastic ring packaging. The company behind Guinness, Harp, and Smithwick says it will also stop using shrink wrap for beer multi-packs. Instead, it is switching to 100% recyclable and biodegradable cardboard. The sustainable beer packs are expected to first appear this August in Ireland. The new packaging will be introduced to Britain and other markets by the summer of 2020. Plastic rings, which have been used for decades, pose a significant risk to wildlife and have been heavily linked to increased ocean pollution. Finally, imagine Donald Trump singing in Cantonese. Yes, you heard me right. It's one of the many surreal moments in a new show in Hong Kong, which sees local opera star play the U.S. president. If the idea sounds crazy, wait until you hear the storyline. It envisions what could happen if Trump had a long-lost twin who was raised in China. And it also features Chairman Mao Zedong, the Communist China's founding father. The opera hopes for the real Trump to one day see it. That's all for the Global Report this week. Thank you so much for watching. Now back to you, Brianna.
Thanks, Larmy. That's all we have for you this week. For more campus and local news, visit our website at iustv.com and like us on social media. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter at IUSTV News.
From all of us here at IUSTV, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.